Hello and welcome back to Grow Roots. This is Shannon, and today I am going to be talking all about Sweet William. I just can't get enough of this plant right now. I've never grown it before, and I have quite a few of them throughout my landscape, and I just thought I would capture this beautiful plant and tell you all about it while it's in its glory. So this is probably one of my favorite ones because like I said, I have several of them throughout the landscape, but this one is probably the most glorious. It is 2.5 to 3 feet tall, probably 2 feet wide, and it's just absolutely full. Like, here's my hand, here's the bloom. I do have small hands, but here's Chloe. Hi, Chloe. But I mean, these are huge, beautiful mop head type, almost hydrangea-like, but obviously these are not hydrangeas, but just this beautiful mix. So these were grown from seed. Last year is when I sowed them indoors last winter, not this past one, but the one before that. And I, had lots of Sweet William babies that were growing, and I planted them, dotted them in the landscape because I was really looking for some winter interest. Dianthus Sweet William is a great plant for winter interest because it's evergreen throughout the winter here in North Texas, zone 8A, 8B. And so that's really what my goal was when I started growing these. And then I didn't realize it was a biennial plant, which means the first year that you grow them, they are not going to look like this. They will not bloom first year. In fact, they looked like, I'm not gonna okay, look at my peony. See how it's not blooming yet? That's kind of how I was last year with the Sweet William. Look at that. Chloe. Okay, so that tells you how stable the Sweet William blossoms or blooms are. She is just relentless. My goodness. They're nice, strong, sturdy stems when they get going, so they can withstand Miss Chloe. But anyway, the first year they're just going to be green. And honestly, they were super heat tolerant, super drought tolerant, evergreen through the winter. And I thought at one point it was never going to start blooming. But then in early spring, well, I had other things coming up for spring before this guy even started shooting up. But all of a sudden, it took on these shoots. These stems started growing really, really rapidly. And on the top here, it was just like this green fuzz. Look at her. Oh my goodness. This green fuzz at the top, and it grew really, really fast. And then okay, I've got some newer ones here. So this is what the new ones were looking like, and it's just got a new sprout. Here's a fairly new one as well. So if you can see those new ones, that's how it looked in the beginning. And then as it started, like, more and more flowers would pop up on these heads, and these were the first ones to bloom. And they're still weeks later. I mean, I don't know if it's been 2 weeks, 3 weeks at least since these have started blooming, and they're just magnificent. And I'm not sure, I read that these will bloom late spring to early summer, and then the blooms will die off in the heat. We've had some late 80s temperatures, quite a few days of those. We may have even hit 90. And these guys are still going strong, so I hope that they'll last quite a long time. But so here's this one, and this plant has, every bloom looks almost the same, but it's this beautiful mix of white and pink. When they first come out, they look white like that, and then as the bloom ages, it turns pink. So that specific flower starts off as white and then gradually fades, and that's why you see just this beautiful mix of color on the same bloom. Let me show you a couple of my other ones that I have so you can get an idea. On a side note, Sweet William definitely prefers full sun. I have grown these in part shade locations, and I'll show those to you. Those that are grown in part shade are much smaller plants, and they only have 1 or 2 blooms. So this one, as you can see, is much different. So these blooms, this plant actually has a mix. So again, this is Sweet William's double mix from Botanical Interest. These are the seeds that I grew. And so you're going to see a mix of different types of blooms on there. But this one is just this beautiful white edge with a red ring, and then another white ring, and then a little pink ring. And honestly, I don't know if you can see those, but there's little tiny purple centers, like the pollen. I'm not sure what part of the plant that is. I need to take my biology course again. But anyway, the little centers of it are purple. Just absolutely stunning. And then on the same plant, it has this feature that you saw on the other plant as well, where they start out white and then they gradually turn light pink and then dark pink. So that's what this plant is. And again, this is a full sun location. And let me show you some of my other locations. Okay, so down here, I'm underneath a tree-formed sunshine ligustrum. So this is definitely a part shade location here, and you can see the plant is a lot smaller. It only has 1 bloom head, although more are coming for sure. But look at this one. It's like a dark pink on the outside with red in the middle there, and then it still has a purple center, which is so cool. Get this out of there. That's a sunshine ligustrum. And there's Chloe again. And then I have another one right over here that's kind of the same, very much a part shade / shade location. Only a few blooms, as you can see, and they're smaller too, the blooms are, but just really sturdy. I wouldn't even say this is leggy for being in the shade, to be honest. This is just the size of the plant in the shade is definitely much smaller, but you can grow it in this location and it still do okay as well. So look at that beautiful pink color, and I'm going to show you the one that's in my front yard that is stunning as well. Okay, so here is the one that is just the showstopper in my front garden right now, and look at it with all of those beautiful blooms nearby. Oh my goodness, I love this combination. So really quick, I have Supertunia, Vista Jawsberry, and a purple verbena there in the front border. And then I have Dusty Miller growing here. The little grassy things that you see are what's left of my daffodils. So those are done blooming, but I'm leaving the leaves up. And then to the right, you see is May Night Salvia that is blooming like crazy right now. And it has another smaller May Night Salvia next to it. I've got Salvia Greggi growing behind it, so that's not part of the Sweet William plant. But look at that. Oh my goodness. It's very similar to the one that I have in my backyard. I would say these bloom heads seem bigger, don't they? Like when you compare it to the size of my hand. It's unbelievable. And I still have, if you can see those down in there, I still have new blooms coming. So it's just, it seems like it's going to be blooming for quite some time. Again, these have been blooming for 2 weeks, 3 weeks at least, and still going strong. Like these are the older blooms, and they're not even faded. Like I guess the fading is actually this dark pink color. It's amazing. But I had to do a video about Sweet William because I've really never seen it like this before. I can't recall, or if I have, I just don't remember. And now that I have grown it, I will probably be growing it every single year. I've got new Sweet William plants that I only had maybe 4 survive. So I have those growing right now, and so they will be growing and green for me this year, and then hopefully these will probably die off after blooming, after the heat sets in. These will probably die off, and then next year my little seedlings that are growing will take its place. And so it's absolutely beautiful with this with this combination as well. I mean, I've got Sunshine Ligustrum in the back. That yellow makes it pop. The purple May-Night Salvia on each side of it makes it pop. The Dusty Miller in the front of it brings out the white, and then the Super Tunia Jazzberry and the purple Verbena and the, I'm ecstatic with the way that my garden looks right now. It's just unbelievable. So anyway, I hope this inspires you to grow some Sweet William. I do believe it is hardy in zones 3 through 9, if I'm not mistaken. I will pop the zones up on the screen. Full sun location. Almost anybody in the United States can grow Sweet William, or really all over the if you're in zones 3 through 10, if you're in Canada, England, anywhere that you're watching, please let me know. That would be great to hear where you're watching from, and if you've grown Sweet William before as well, and what your experience has been with it. My experience has just been, it's one of my favorite plants now. It really is on the top of my list. You've got to grow it. So have a fantastic day, everybody. Please don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you can see more of the beautiful plants that I have and updates all throughout this growing season. Thank you so much. Bye-bye, everybody.